Hello, peeps. Welcome to another episode of Sports Entertainment Weekly. Today, we as in Class A are gathered here to take a roundup of what has happened in the Euros and what will fare along in the near future. Some have said that the Copa America, which is happening simultaneously, has been far better than the Euros. But there are people who are in this podcast to debate the same. So let's give this intro short. So we have a lot to speak among ourselves. So let's start with you. Let's discuss the group stage shenanigans first, right? Who were your favorites and who were your dark horses, and where they ended up at the last, and how do you summarize the group stage?
So I had the misfortune of choosing Belgium as my dark horses, and they somehow
Ah,
edged it out in the group and made it to the knockouts. But as we all know now, they didn't go far. So I think the big mistake that I made when choosing Belgium as the dark horse was I went with the players. I based it out on the players that were going to be in the squad. Completely ignored the fact that their manager is very new to the sector,
yes,
and they had a lot of blockers in the sense Onana and Tielemans did not play together very well. KDB had a bad tournament. So I'm not very proud of my prediction. But at the same time, I think we did predict Spain to do very well with their young squad. And yeah, I think Spain was the best team at the end of the group stages. 3 victories out of 3 rock and roller squad. They have also won the first knockout match. So that's how it looks like for me. Half 50% correct, I would say.
great.
Yeah,
So yeah, class A, over to you.
yeah. No, I agree with what VS said, right? KDB did not have a great tournament. I think all Pep's players are not having such a great tournament once they are out of the system, and one
Yeah,
coach not yelling instruction as to how to play. Looks the same with the team that I support as well. Phil Foden looks a shadow of a player that he is
exactly.
for England right now. But yeah, when it comes to my prediction, I gave Italy as one of the dark horses. I was quite confident that they will go farther in the tournament because they had Spalletti as the coach. They had like a very good centre back Caliafori, who I was hoping like will have a great tournament and will move to one of the big clubs later this year as after the Euros. And yeah, I was surprised to see them getting knocked out. And that's my prediction gone completely out of the uh, like completely wrong in my opinion. So yeah, looking forward at least to the next set of teams that will go through to the quarterfinals, and hopefully our predictions will be satisfied then.
Yeah, great class NVS. So, I am a Vibala Espana supporter since my childhood. The second I saw David Villa in a Spain shirt and he was playing at Barcelona too at that moment, I was Vibala Espana all through. Okay, and I literally predicted I wanted Spain to win this tournament because they have a plethora of talent in their squad, right? Like Gavi is not playing, I think, if I'm not wrong. Pedri,
He's injured.
Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, all those heavyweight talents up front, and I literally wanted Spain to win. And yeah, nothing to my surprise, they are doing so well. And
You forgot Morata, Charlie.
yeah, Morata, the money laundering
I think you
fabulous
also
football all
forgot
possible. Yeah,
Rodri. I mean, literally one of the
Rodri.
best footballers on the planet right
Yeah,
now.
man, he should get a Ballon d'Or shout out more than Vinicius and any other player, man. Rodri, like he's been the completely under the sea dark horse who's been influencing games and titles so far for many teams, literally for Spain and Man City. So I would not be surprised if he got a Ballon d'Or shout out more than Vinicius. Like let's talk about the topic for another day. So yeah, Spain. So nothing to my surprise. So if they go on to win the tournament, I would literally not be surprised. So yeah, so I'm Viva la España, let's go Spain. But my dark horses were Hungary because yeah, I support Liverpool and I literally predicted Dominic Soboslai to be that anchor who would carry that Hungary team into the round of 16 or the quarterfinals and would influence a lot of. And yeah, also Hungary has a lot of talent too. To be honest, it's not a very deadweight team like some Slovakia, Slovenia, where Jan Oblak has to carry the entire Slovenian team, right? Hungary has a lot of credible talent in them. So I thought Hungary would be the dark horse in this tournament, but they folded too quickly. Yeah, to my surprise. So yeah, that's how they fared up in this tournament. So VS and Casemiro, since I wasn't up in the last couple of episodes, so who were your dark horses and who and where did they end up?
So like I told you, Sally, the Belgium, they're already
Oh,
out.
Belgium.
Spain, we
Okay.
predicted them to do well. They are doing well. England, classic. I think we got it spot on about England. I mean, we were sure that England would progress, but we were also pretty sure that they would struggle to progress, and that is exactly what has happened. I think
Yeah,
another
it's good.
team that we actually had a negative opinion about, despite the talent in the squad, was France. Because I remember we were discussing about Deschamps being a very conservative man with his own methods.
Exactly.
So Deschamps, he has that winning formula, and he just wants to stick to it. He won the World Cup and the Euros by playing four centre backs in the back line. His picks for this tournament was also similar. He picked Koundé over other natural right backs that Spain had. He was
And
playing.
sorry
Yes,
to
Ali.
interrupt PS, but Xavi changing Jules Koundé from centre back to right back is literally his legacy at Barcelona. Like
That's a, that's a
that paid
that
off
is the
really
biggest
really
thing.
well for
Yeah.
both club and country. Yeah, that paid really really well. Yeah,
That
continue.
also played really well into Deschamps' hands in the sense he wanted again. It was Pavard, I think, like last tournament,
Exactly.
and he
Yeah,
wants that height across his back line. He got that. He bought back N'Golo Kante from Saudi, which raised a lot of eyebrows. But the thing about Kante was that he's not as old as we think he is. He's 33, and
yeah,
he's literally
exactly.
not exactly over the prime for a football player. And he left from Chelsea to Saudi primarily because of his injury crisis. He was running on half a knee in the last season that he had at Chelsea. But with Kante, the thing is, once you put Kante in the team, and if Kante is fit, he's a one man midfield. I mean, you can
Yeah,
have people doing other roles, but he's very disruptive, and he's a one man wrecking ball. There's nobody like Kante. The Champions League that we recently won like 3 years ago, Chelsea. It was not exactly, people give a lot of credits to Tuchel. Havertz gets a lot of credits, plaudits for that final goal. But Kante went to Santiago Bernabeu and dominated a midfield of Kroos, Modric, and Casemiro. So that speaks a lot about the player. But the problem with Deschamps is that he's counting on just that, what we mentioned, the defensive solidity that Saliba, Koundé, and Kante brings in. He's literally building his team around that, and I think a lot of attacking talent is going to waste. I don't think they have yet scored a goal from open play. They have progressed into the quarters via own goals
yeah,
and penalties, which is a shame given the attacking talent they have at their disposal. It's not just Kylian Mbappe. They have Griezmann, who came off after a wonderful season. They
yeah,
have Barcola on the wings. They have Kingsley Coman if they need pace. They also have Usman Dembele if they want a wild card. Throw in some unpredictability. Might be good, might be shit, but if he comes good, might be very good. So
yeah,
there was a lot of talent, and I don't think it is being used to the full extent. So France and England, they are following a similar trajectory, wherein they are getting the job done, but they are not exactly pleasing the football fans. And there is a chance that these guys might face off each other in the final in what many perceive to be a very boring affair. But a final is a final, even if it's between Southgate and Deschamps. And yeah, that is, I think, the team that both the teams that have disappointed, not in terms of results, but
yeah.
in terms of the football that's being played and the output that the fans are being given.
Yeah, I saw a post the
Yeah,
other day where they showed that the four managers, Deschamps, Koeman, Southgate, and Roberto Martinez, saying killing tournaments for killing another tournament with a
yeah.
great squad. So at least Koeman cannot be blamed that much, but yeah, he's still a bad manager. But yeah, these four managers, like they have just stunk the tournament out
I
with
would
such a
say
great.
from the other three, Roberto Martinez might have one of the best agents in football for a manager,
World football,
because
exactly.
Yeah,
he did not do a good job at Everton. I mean, he bought in a lot of players. He spent a lot of money, because of which Everton, it started from there. That's the reason why Everton
Yeah,
had that 15-point reduction this year, which Sean Dyche of all people saved.
got
He
you.
then went to a Belgium. He took over a Belgium team which was stacked with talent.
Talent.
Courtois, goalie, Hazard, KDB, Vertonghen, Vermaelen. It was a
No,
stacked Belgium squad.
at the time, Belgium were playing all the three Hazard brothers, if you like remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thorgan
Exactly.
Hazard was also
That much talent. Yeah,
that much talent in there, and he won nothing with them. Forget. But the problem was that I think Klase was calling it out in the last episode that there is something wrong with the FIFA national team rankings, because Belgium were ranked one for like 3 years straight without having
exactly.
won anything. And he failed the team. I mean, he progressed to the semis of a World Cup, but he beat Minos, and Brazil was the only big team that he beat. But anybody who remembers the Brazil versus Belgium game from that tournament will remember that it was not the coach, it was not the squad, it was just one man who beat
One
Brazil,
man.
and it was Hazard who beat Brazil. It was
Hazard.
it was not
Yeah,
Roberto Martinez. So he failed with Belgium, and somehow he fell upwards. So This is one of the best Portugal teams that we have seen in recent memory, and he gets hold of Portugal team and then brings terror ball over there. So I don't really know how to make sense of it. He has. I think ultimately it comes down to that managers who say, at the end of the day, what I want is numbers. So Roberto Martinez gave you numbers. We are Belgium number one in the world for 3 years, and he gets the job. So I would say typical corporate manager who doesn't know how to make the best use of his team, but then pleases the board members with some fancy numbers and gets to sit on that hot ass chair. Southgate is also pretty much the same, to be honest. I mean, he's the least controversial English manager that I've ever seen in my lifestyle, and I think that's his biggest achievement, because up until then it has always been chaos and bad press for English managers. So Southgate, again, very similar. Like, the board is happy, so he gets the chair.
Least controversial and most boring manager.
Most boring, yeah. So, speaking of least controversial, boring, and most protected managers, right? So Deschamps, Southgate, Roberto Martinez, all of their teams almost were Roberto Martinez. All teams were in the round of 16, like France and England. But I wanted to put the spotlight here on France especially, because they literally are a shadow of themselves in what they were in the last two World Cups and the Euros. Okay, so yeah, just a small backstory. I'm a huge Messi fan. Everybody here knows that. Since forget even the 2022 World Cup, since the 2018 World Cup, since France beat Argentina 4-3, I've been an ardent hater of the French national team. It's not a French national team, just an imported African team. Okay, let's correct that. So, they have a huge stack of talent, primarily being supplied by the three quartet of midfield, that is Griezmann, Pogba, and Kante. So, I've always thought that without that, triplet, the French national team wouldn't literally work. Okay, so take Pogba out of the equation. Now the entire French team is literally struggling with creativity, and literally they are literally a shadow of themselves that they were in the last two World Cups. So Adrien Rabiot isn't contributing much to the French national team either, and literally the English team, which Classe also highlighted, are literally similar to the French national team. So, but unfortunately, they are into the quarterfinals as we speak. So, VS and Classe, how do you see how the round of 16 matches fared, and how do you see
Classe, I'll leave this question to you. I just want to point out something that Charlie said. So Charlie called the French national team not exactly the French national team, but an imported African team. Charlie, trust me, the French, the national friend, the people who recently won the elections, Marine Le Pen and co, they would absolutely love you, because that's what they've been saying as well. This is not a French national team. There is no France in it.
Give me a second. Marine Le Pen won the election?
I mean, they're getting the prime ministerial seat with Macron still as the president. So,
shit, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah.
So, not exactly a great time to make that statement with all that's happening in the background.
Okay. Yeah.
And Classe, you take the question, man.
Yeah. So, see, for me, as a person who enjoys these tournament footballs, watching a France team without Pogba and watching a Belgium team without Hazard seems like such a snooze fest, because there is no player who can catch your eye, take you out of the seat, and say hey, this is like a wow moment for you to kind of enjoy, right? Kante looks a shadow of a player without Pogba, because we have always given the plaudits to Kante all the time, to say hey, you need Kante. But right now, we'll possibly say hey, where is Kante without Pogba? Because France looked a shadow of the team that they were without Pogba running the show along with Kante. So it was always like a partnership which was working, which is now very evident. One player is not looking great without the other player here when it comes to tournament football. I can't say Rabiot has played badly, because he's playing to his fullest potential, and that's all that we can say. It's just that the conservative nature of the team is hurting. Like the other game as well, against the last round of 16 that France and Belgium had, Griezmann was not even playing a support striker. He was pushed to the flanks by Deschamps. So just to do defensive work, how can you even have Griezmann, who's one of the best support strikers or one of the best 10s that you can have in modern day football, who's just been pushed to the flank for you to have a conservative midfield of 3 against Belgium, where KDB is playing a central mid rather than an attacking player. So it was not even to minimize KDB's influence on the pitch. I understand if you're starting Kante, Tchouaméni, and Rabiot, but I can understand it if if Belgium has gone all out attack and you want to minimize the effect here. They were going for a 3-4-3, if I'm not mistaken. Belgium was playing a 3-4-3, and for that like Deschamps got it completely wrong. It was a very boring game considering the contest was between France and Belgium. I would understand the contest for who invented French fries would have been more like interesting than this game. Watching this game, which was like such a boring game. Like the Belgians say it's the Belgians, the French say the French are the inventor of fries. Like that contest would have been more interesting than the Euros game that they just recently played.
Some would say it would be the Dutch.
Yeah,
I have to
exactly.
completely
Yeah.
agree with what Classes said over there because I think playing Griezmann as a right winger is criminal. So you have to also remember the
Exactly.
Belgium setup, like Classes said, it was a 3-4-3, and they had Arthur Thiate playing at left center back. So
Yeah.
Thiate, he's a very fast player, but it's only the top speed that he has. He cannot accelerate. He's a big player and he runs very fast over a long distance. And they did not have a proper defensive cover in that Belgium left side, and it was actually open for exploitation. But Griezmann, that is not his natural position. He's at his best when he plays in the interior, closer to the striker. Going towards the wing and taking on a fullback is not his strength. Now, you have to also remember the fact that it is Koundé who's playing right back. So Koundé has developed well into an all-round right back, but again, attacking is not his forte. He never hits the byline. His primary focus when he gets into an attacking position is to hit the cross from the half space, or if everything is clear and if he gets the time and space to, like he did in the previous match once, he can do a cutback. But if France had somebody, a winger or a fullback, ideally both of them, who could just directly take the game to the Belgium, go to the byline, cut back crosses from there, and link up out wide. I'm saying, maybe Kingsley Coman, maybe Malo Gusto, who's a Chelsea player, was selected in the squad.
Dembele,
Guys who are
Dembele,
like Dembele. These are guys who
Dembele,
are
yeah.
comfortable playing out wide and can supply you from out wide. So they did not entertain that tactic, and in the end, it was a very very lucky victory despite whatever possession they had. It was a half-ass goal, and Colomani also got away with it. I don't blame Vertonghen for conceding the goal. I mean, he's supposed to be retired by now, so it was just a lucky, bare enough, minimal victory. And I don't think anybody in France would be proud of the way they played football or
Yeah.
the way they've used the talents. And I think tactically also it doesn't make much sense. I get the safety first approach, but you don't have to take a safety first approach when you have that many players in your squad. Mbappe, Barcola, Coman, Griezmann. Just hit them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally.
And
yeah,
also one player, I think, who we mentioned Pogba, so that's absolutely correct. Pogba brought the
exactly.
class to the French midfield alongside Kante, who brought the work ethic and discipline. So there is no way, like Classes said, Rabiot can play at his best, but in terms of class on the ball, he will be Pogba on one leg is better than Rabiot's peak of his career. So
Right.
there's no way Rabiot replaces somebody like Pogba. But also they are missing, I think, a few class players up front who could make the impact of the bench. You remember Dimitri Payet, right? So
Dimitri Payet. Yeah.
yeah, you could
I
just
think
That
I
bring on
think
that that free kick
I
he hit
think
for West Ham is coming in front of my eyes every single
the
time I mention Payet.
the rainbow
Yeah.
one.
they're also missing that French top scorer Giroud. Like
Yeah,
he could
Giroud.
give
Yeah.
some,
Yeah,
like he used to like as much as we say like he never got a shot in their World Cup win. He never
that was not
Yeah.
his job.
scored any goals. Yeah, it was not his job. His job was to bring Mbappe into the game.
To
His
bring
job
in
was to
Mbappe and
give
Griezmann to the
the
game, which he did very
yeah.
very well.
Yeah, and they're missing someone like that right now. I understand Thuram is playing very well right now, but he's not doing that. He needs to bring in the wingers into the game who are pacey enough to kind of cut in and shoot and at any angle and then score the goal. Like
So
for you probably Charlie just running into the round of 16 the next game. I think you must be very happy to see Cody Gakpo doing so well.
yeah, like I'm just waiting for Arne Slot to unleash the beast he is. Like I am despising Klopp right now for him to play Cody Gakpo as a second striker as a false nine for 18 months straight. I'm like off. Like okay, I'll stop swearing in camera, but yeah, yeah. I want to so badly swear at Klopp. So yeah. So let's cut at that. Okay. So among the top teams that are in the round of 16 and are into the quarterfinals, right? So let's omit Spain and Germany, right? Since they are in a very single tie, and no one is surprised that they're into the quarterfinals and they're paired up in a single tie. But let's put the spotlight now on England
That
and
should have been the
Portugal.
final, in my opinion. Spain versus
Yeah,
Exactly.
Germany.
When it should have been the
That's
final,
probably the final.
it would have been the blockbuster bonanza that everybody
Yeah.
wanted. But here, let's put the spotlight on England and Portugal. Okay, so they had a similar season, that is a similar tournament, like Belgium or the like the French team that we discussed right now, that the English team haven't fared that much. They've been running literally on that bottle of luck that bottle of genie that they have in their hand, and the Portugal team too. The Portugal team are literally stacked with talents more than any other team in my humble opinion in this tournament. But up front, there's this Homelander that without because of his like age and because of his non-finishing abilities, that he doesn't realize that age has caught up with him. But because of Homelander, they are literally running behind all these chances. So,
Charlie, I think
what
that is a bit rude.
yeah.
I'm not
So
a
we
Ronaldo
as
fan.
okay, but Class is Ronaldo fan since he's a Manchester United fan. So yeah, we as in Class. What do you think about the England and Portugal conundrum? Yeah.
I was lucky to go for the Spain and Georgia game the other day to
Okay.
like see good football. And
Okay.
before that, I sat at a pub and I was watching horrendous football by England for 100 minutes before I decided that it's time to go to the stadium. And that is my experience right now. Like they have been bailed out by Bellingham's aura again.
Exactly.
Somehow they have that luck, but man, that was horrendous game by England for,
Yeah,
for
like
another round.
sorry to cut you, Class. Like that meme I sent in the group chat, right? Like that was the biggest bailout that any football team has ever had since the 2008 financial crisis, and I have to mention it here. So
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But the thing is, see, the ideally speaking, that goal would be celebrated for that technique and how good the goal was on any other day. But the football was so bad for so
Exactly.
long that the goal didn't even get its due credit. Of course, the goal was technically very like good, and it has like so much rewatch capacity. But like the game was so boring, and you don't need 95 minutes for you to come in as like a top five team in the world and then struggle against a Slovakia side. No disrespect to them, but as a team, a team which has the best Bundesliga goal scorer, as a team that has the
Exactly.
La Liga player of the season, as a team that has the PFA player of the year,
Yeah.
you expect better from that team. Foden looks like a shadow of a player, doesn't even know what to do on the left wing right now. And if you don't know, it's easier for you to swap Foden out, bring him to his favored position, or at least take him out of the team. Like it's not a time you're not in the tournament where you can have passengers on the team. Like it's going to be tough football moving forward. And if Foden does not play well, at least try to play to his strengths. That is what I've been saying since day one. Like push Bellingham behind. I'm not even going to advocate that Kobe Mainu has to start, even though I'm a United fan. I would rather have him fit for next season. But looking at the way
Yeah.
that Kobe Mainu plays, Kobe Mainu is already the best player in the England squad. He looks like up for playing, and he was the best player, if not for Bellingham's goal that bailed
He
them
was
out.
Exactly.
the man of the
Yeah, he
match.
was the man of the match.
Yeah.
He should have
But
been the man of the match. Yeah.
he should have been man of the
He
match
should have been
because
the man of the
Bellingham was
match.
the man. Yeah, Bellingham was the man of the match. But yeah, see, if I have to go into negatives, like the entire team is a negative except like a few handful of players. Like Rice does a job, but you cannot expect anything more from Rice when like the foundation itself is not there. Stones also doesn't play well
No.
when he comes to an England squad. Kyle Walker,
I think
my
way
God,
he has been doing really well, apart from the one goal that
yeah,
he considered the
yeah,
other day.
Exactly.
Wavy
Yeah.
has been
exactly.
a stone.
Yeah, but for me, in these kind of games, if Kyle Walker is going to be so conservative, I would rather have Trent start. Like Trent has been poor when he has played in the midfield, but you can always take the chance and start Trent because you have Kane, you have brought in Tony for goals, and you're
Exactly.
not having the best crosser in the England team on the pitch. Like I'm completely against Trent playing in the midfield because he stunk the place out for the two games that he played there. But he's not the only person. Like I am okay for Trent to start as a right back, provided he has good defensive cover and a good centre mid who can close the space that Trent leaves when he goes for crossing. And he is up all the time playing like very close to the touchline and very close to the half line, which is his game. I understand, but at least he will quickly change the play by doing all those diagonals across the pitch, quickly switching the
Mm.
play, which is quite important for any team to quite quickly transition from one end to another end. And that Trent does. Walker, apart from that assist for that Denmark game, he has been very poor for England. I don't know how. Like I understand the conservative thing again, but Kyle Walker was atrocious against Slovakia. Like he has been bailed out so many times by his recovery pace. But if you're going to be a liability on the ball, your recovery pace at times you will not be able to catch the person if they have got a very high head start. And that's what Slovakia was exposing every single time with Kyle Walker. Kobe
Exactly.
Mainu looked like he was again available all the time to pick up the ball, but Kobe Mainu and Rice are so deep playing along with Guay and Stones, that there is such a huge hole. Bellingham does not drop deep to catch the ball. So that is why I'm saying like Bellingham should drop deeper, or it should not be like a 4-2-3-1, and it should be like a 4-3-3 where they play deep, but Bellingham has to somehow find a way to progress the ball from the deep side of the midfield to all the way to Harry Kane. And Harry Kane is not available to pick out the crosses whenever crosses come in, because Harry Kane is also playing so deep. And like you can only, like with this team, all you need is a coach who just allows them out of the shackles and allows them to play free football, which everyone seems to say like Southgate does. But if you look at the football, it's just horrendous. A tournament is just 7 games that you have to play.
What I think
And how you
Southgate has to start with is what Klaus has started with. So you have Foden and Saka in the same team, and you haven't found a way to accommodate both of their talents in the attack. So whenever Saka is somebody who prefers to play wider than Foden naturally, so when they rotate, either one of Saka or Foden is playing on the left side, and neither one of them are right-footed players to be playing attack on the left side, and it's primarily Foden. So now the problem with Foden is, although he excels for City in a slightly wing position, that is also towards the right. That is also crafted around Pep's system. So Pep has Bernardo Silva and Walker cover certain areas, which lets Foden cut in without having to directly beat a fullback and then shoot and score. Southgate cannot do that, and when Southgate plays Foden in the left side, that brings a natural problem that England do not have anybody to. And also, given the fact that they start Trippier as their left back, you have a right-footed left back and left-footed left winger. Not exactly the ideal combination you want to be having in football. So what I think Southgate has to do is make a bold call. Choose either Saka or Foden. That has to be your call depending on your players and your system. Don't try to shoehorn them both into the same team, because you are playing Bellingham through the center. You're not going to let Foden be the centerpiece. Well and fine enough. I mean, I cannot complain given the clutch moments that Bellingham produced. Although I think his overall game is still lacking. I don't think he excels for 90 minutes. But he has that clutch. He's a player for big moments. So you have to keep players like that. Now, either play Saka or play Foden. Choose one player who will start right. And on the left, you have Anthony Gordon. You have Eberechi Eze. And Eze came on last game, and Eze, he was defensively brilliant. I never thought I would say that about Eze, but Eze against Slovenia, his defensive game was wonderful. That is not what he's known for. He's known for being a very glazing carrier of the ball. He makes ball carrying look effortless. And you had Eze defending out in the back, and he was, despite his defensive duties, he was better than whoever else there was for that long. So choose between Saka or Foden, or give Palmer a shot. I think Palmer in his cameos have also been brilliant, but I think Palmer takes a bit too many risks for Southgate to like, because in the match before the last one, there was this ridiculous, somebody hit a diagonal and Palmer with his first touch, he lifted the ball over the fullback and went ahead and chased it. I don't think that's something risk-averse coach like Southgate would approve of. So fine, don't play Palmer, but choose either one of them and play Gordon or play Eze as a left winger. I mean, you don't have to. Your job as a manager is not to play all your big names. It is to put forward the best squad. So individually, I'll never say that Gordon or Saka is a better player. Sorry, Gordon or Eze is a better player than either Saka or Foden. But you have to look at what fares best for the team, and the team needs a right-footed left winger, and you have to give the team the right-footed left winger. It has to be Eze.
And also another thing is, you can possibly even drop Bellingham to a 6 and then play Foden centrally if you want. Like this, you can do it against teams which are not going to, again, this is something that a proper coach will think. Southgate won't do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't need two pivots all the time.
I'm limiting my argument within the scope of Southgate's potential. You have already gone beyond it.
No, I mean, the guy literally misses Calvin Phillips of all people. I mean, that speaks volumes about that guy. Come on. I mean, what the hell was he talking in the post-match interview, man?
Yeah. It's been very bad. And yeah, I'm just glad that they have gotten through. But I like what Slovakia did. Slovakia pressed high in the first half, but they didn't have the energy to press throughout the 90 minutes, which was evident from the start. So if England had to score, it had to be in the second half, and they did it. Like they threw all the dices, and